Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm joined by Tucker from
Oh
Backlog
yeah.
Banter.
Oh
Link in
yeah.
the description. Check them out. I'm sure they'll have a discussion up on this. We're going to talk
Absolutely.
about this February Nintendo Direct today. Tucker, you are the first person I am talking about this with.
Perfect. That's exactly how I would have wanted it.
I don't know how I feel about this Direct.
Okay. And that's what
I
this is for.
right,
Therapy. We're talking
yeah,
through things.
this is therapy. Before I really get into my opinions, I just want to say, back in September, everybody shitting on that farming Direct.
Oh, the farming direct, yes,
That Direct,
notorious.
in my personal opinion, absolutely better than this.
I agree, and for one specific reason that I think we'll get into.
It had first party games.
Yes. Well, new first party games.
Right. So here's the thing. If you're looking for stuff to play over the next 4 months, which to be fair, Nintendo does market these as such.
Sure.
There was plenty in this direct, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. There's stuff to play right now. There's a lot of shadow drops, which I don't think anybody was
Yeah.
expecting. But they've trained me when they say focusing on first half. They've definitely trained me to think, oh, that means we're going to get something for holiday or even next year.
Of course.
So
Yes.
I think it's my own expectation failing me here,
hmm
but I was definitely looking for something else. What about you?
Yeah. No, I'm in the exact same boat. I think it was a good direct. There were things revealed. Not many of them excited me. There were elements of certain announcements that excited me a good amount, but because it felt like we're focusing on DLC for games that have already released, and most of the stuff that is new games coming up, or either games that were already announced or older games in the case of Metroid Prime Remake, it just didn't really excite me that much. I think that so much of what has I've loved about the Switch is that it always feels like we're moving forward to the next great thing, and they've got things on the horizon. We have ideas of what's coming, but there's a really, really, really hard cutoff with Pikmin 4 is the last thing that we have a release date for, and then nothing. We got Bayonetta 3. We're getting Tears of the Kingdom. Metroid Prime 4 is the only thing that we're even aware of a Nintendo team officially working on that is on the horizon after that. But I think the fact that we didn't get a holiday game, another new first party announcement did feel like this was kind of lacking. What they did have was good, but it felt like it lacked that sort of special forward momentum spark.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, that cutoff with Pikmin 4 is really weird. I look back to 2020 when people
Yeah.
were losing their minds because Animal Crossing New Horizons was the only game with a release date, and that was a
hmm
rough time. But even
Yeah.
then, we still had Breath of the Wild 2 coming,
Of
and
course.
and we knew like Metroid Prime,
Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3, SMT5.
Yeah.
Like there was stuff to talk about.
hmm
Right now, there's a lot of stuff to talk about with Nintendo, which is exciting for me as like I do like the daily Nintendo topics.
Yes.
Um, but I don't think most of it's positive, and
Sure.
it's just weird. I'm excited to see. I do think we are both in agreement that they almost have to do a June direct now. There's
Yes.
no way they can squirrel out of it this year.
Yeah. And that's the thing that stresses me out most about this direct is because they were right. This was focusing on stuff for the first half of the year. But that June summer direct has so much baggage going into it. They need to announce things. They need to announce multiple things. We need to know what their late summer and fall and holiday slate is, which is what we're usually already starting to get hints of at this point. At this point, it would have been okay, Breath of the Wild is going to be like our holiday game. So we're getting information leading up to that, and they want to fill in the early summer slot. They want to fill in the late spring slot, but we have those filled now, but we have nothing afterward, and it's really imbalanced, which just makes me almost worried for that future, but also like what that next direct is going to be, because it's either going to be one of the greatest directs we've ever had, and like for big first party game announcements, or not that much.
Yeah, and I think a great comparison point is last February direct. They
Mm,
announced Fire Emblem Warriors, Xenoblade, Switch
yep,
Sports, Bayonetta, like you said, we knew was
Mario
coming.
Strikers.
We knew the entire year's lineup after February last year, after
Yeah.
last year's direct. So it is kind of interesting to see. Not to get into it too much here, it does make me start to question the longevity of the Switch as a console.
Mm,
I have to admit, as someone who's been
sure.
very anti-Switch too, I do have
Mhm.
to start questioning it a little bit right now. But let's just go ahead and get into it. We're just going to go in order of the stuff that interests us. We're not going to talk about every single thing because I
Yeah.
think there was some stuff we probably don't really care about. But they started off with Pikmin 4, which, and I
Mhm.
will say that was when I immediately knew, like, I was kind of like, I was excited. Don't get me wrong. I was like, oh
Mhm.
no, they started with an old game. That's
Sure,
always
yeah,
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
great sign. However, fucking awesome trailer. This game looks
Oh,
fantastic.
absolutely.
That new
Yeah.
camera angle Miyamoto was talking about, I'm still kind of worried about how that's going to play because Pikmin's
Sure.
top down RTS in my mind. But
Mhm.
if it's like a more intimate, personal, close up experience, I think this could be
Yeah.
really cool. Some new features. The dog.
Mhm.
Coochie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
don't
keep
know.
calling it Pikuchi because it's like
The Pikuchi.
Pikmin Poochie.
Um,
Um,
Ice type.
yeah, yeah, the Ice Pikmin. And we will see. I don't know if there will be another Pikmin type revealed. I think you were mentioning that a little bit off camera, but
I
we
don't think so.
have the box art, and the box art has Pikuchi and Ice Pikmin. So I assume that's just
Those are your
the
two new
new
things.
additions.
Yeah.
Yes, but not only that, I do think that this was absolutely one of the highlights of the direct for me because it showed a lot more steps forward for what Pikmin is. They like more interacting with the environment, like building walls that you can climb, freezing over the water with the ice Pikmin, the Pikmin dog doing different things that Pikmin never
You can
have,
take them
and
through
a lot
water
more
now.
side
That's
characters.
crazy.
Yeah, exactly. By riding on
The
the
dog.
Pikuchi.
Yeah.
And the entirely new cast of characters, like 4 or 5 new characters. I think this is the most exciting thing that they showed in this direct because
I
I
agree.
always was excited for Pikmin 4, but I think just actually getting like an in-depth trailer showing gameplay, showing what the new features are. It's no longer just like 3 shots that someone like you has to cycle
Dude,
when they're talking
I
about
like
Pikmin
slowed
4.
it down to like 20%.
I saw that. It was so funny.
I had to do
But
it. There was nothing to show.
yeah, and with July release date, perfect, great.
Yeah.
You know,
This is cool. I think they showed a perfect amount.
hmm
Also visually, I have to say, I just finished playing through Pikmin 1 and 2. I played
hmm
3 a couple years ago. The jump from playing 2 to seeing this, oh my god.
yeah,
This game looks
yeah.
very nice.
It also looks like it has some sort of Pikmin 2 cave inspired areas. There was like bosses
Very,
in
very
underground
nice.
areas.
Well, I
Yeah.
so like they showed this like nighttime stuff.
Mhm.
Is that caves or is that just you can play at night now?
I think that you have to be able to play at night. There's angry bulborbs and like
It's
star bits on
literally
the
Red
ground.
Moon Breath of the Wild stuff going
Yeah,
on.
but it's awesome.
Yeah, the
That's all
Starbits.
great expansion to what the series is, and I do think that if we do get some changes with the gameplay, because the camera is lower down, I think that's a good thing. Pikmin 1 through 3 play about the same. There's new mechanics, new visuals, but in terms of how you interact with the game, it's point and click ostensibly. But I do think that with a little more adventure feel of the camera being a little bit lower, it feels more intimate, as you're saying. The world feels a little more grand, and of course, I think there will be a larger focus on exploration in this game because you've got full human houses and stuff. Like, are
Yeah,
we going to be going inside? Maybe I don't know. Like, there's so much potential for this game that because they're stepping away from Pikmin was to entirely new places and new ideas.
absolutely. Yeah, that looks fantastic. July
Yeah,
21st, so that's
yeah,
our furthest Nintendo game right now. Very
hmm
exciting stuff. After that, we got some DLC. So
hmm
I don't
a lot
know.
of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of DLC in this direct.
Yeah,
Um, they showed Xenoblade 3, or yeah, Xenoblade 3's expansion pass. They showed off a new hero. Who cares? But they showed off that new story DLC.
hmm
The way they did this, I have to say, as exciting as that trailer is, spoiler alert for Xenoblade 3, they show Adult Rex, Adult Shulk, and Adult Noah in this trailer,
hmm
which is exactly what I think everybody wanted from this DLC.
Yeah, but that's also the DLC like image they had
Yeah,
with
the
the
swords. It was obviously going
Minato
to
and
be
the
this.
Aegis. Yeah.
Just straight up showing Rex with a goatee, though. Was not ready for
Mhm.
that today. I have to say, though, I'm a little worried by Monolith Soft. I trust. I'm sure this is
Yeah.
going to end up being awesome. The way they announced it makes me question the scale of it.
Sure.
Torna was like a huge announcement in a Nintendo Direct. Like it
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
separate announcement.
Showing the
They gave
combat,
it a
showing the
title,
worlds.
right?
Mhm.
So I do question if they're gonna prop this up like a full retail release, which they
Yeah.
probably will if the second half is lighter, like we're kind of maybe predicting.
True. Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Just the way they announced it was kind of weird. Either way, it looks absolutely sick, and I'm excited. No release date on that.
No.
Big deal. Story DLC.
I don't
Uh,
think there was release dates for any of the DLC, at least what I can
no.
remember. Maybe like
Well,
said like, "Hey, you're
spring.
getting one emblem guy in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yay! You can use Camilla." But yeah, the
Ooh.
DLC I think is the thing that feels the most like on par with what we had in the past. But for me, as someone who doesn't engage with DLC very much, it was probably the low light of the direct because it felt very predictable. It's like, yep, we're getting more emblems, we're getting another hero,
Emblems.
we're getting another hero, we're getting the story expansion. Splatoon 3 we can talk about because that's a
Oh, I
weird one.
cannot wait to rip that apart.
But everything felt like just like on par. It's like coasting through, like exactly what we expected, no real surprises.
Well, yeah, well, we'll get to it. Like I said, I think the actual story stuff for Xenoblade, that's exciting.
Of course.
There's something with
Yeah.
Mario Party. Each part of the DLC had something interesting, and then something I think that's kind of lame, which
Mm.
we'll get into.
Sure. Okay.
But keeping it through here, this leak, I don't know if you saw Samba de Amigo.
Yeah, I
I
did.
have no history with this franchise. Sega doing weird shit. I
Mhm.
respect it.
Yeah.
um, Dead Cells. Fashion Dreamer. I don't know. I think I was talking about this with you and Abram in a
Yeah.
discussion we recently did. This is Style Savvy. Like 100%. I'm pretty sure this is just actually the devs of Style Savvy.
I don't think so. No, because it's Xseed. There's a city of Marvelous.
No, I know, but I wonder if
Did
Nintendo
they
just didn't want to
make?
pick it up.
Oh, okay. I
It's
don't
literally
know.
the same art style.
Sure. Okay. I would not know. I apologize. But
How dare you not know about Style Savvy?
styles. I'm doing some research.
I'm sure someone will comment, or I can look it up later. Maybe it's not
Yeah.
Sin Sophia, but really interesting that Nintendo didn't. This looks like something Nintendo would pick up.
Hmm.
This one's interesting. I don't know if you have a history with this. I've never played it. Ghost Trick getting a remake or a remaster.
I think that's another one of the quietly most interesting things here because that
Capcom.
game is supposed to be great, but it's also like $140 to get a fucking cartridge for that game.
Is it?
On
I didn't know it
DS.
was expensive.
It's an expensive game. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but
Sure.
it's a more expensive than usual, pretty rare DS game that people hold in very high critical acclaim. So the fact that it's getting a remake that looks really good, that's absolutely something I'll be checking out.
Yeah, same. I don't think there's much to say on it, but super cool to see Capcom kind of doing smaller stuff like this with Switch. I think
Yeah.
it is interesting they're doing this, but then they're not doing like Ace Attorney 4, 5, 6, or 7. I
Yeah.
do wonder what they're doing
Yeah,
with that.
could
I'm
be
sure
coming.
I'm sure it's coming. Maybe TGS is
Yeah.
here. Some Tron game. This was
That's the next Mike Bithell game. I love Mike Bithell.
I do like
so that's
Bithell.
pretty exciting.
I only
Yeah.
played Thomas Was Alone, but I do like that.
That's a great game.
Now it is
It's a great
fantastic
game.
game. This was this kind of set the tone for the direct for me a little bit, as we'll get into. I don't know
Okay.
what the fuck this game is, and I don't really care. But it's a level 5 game, which is really exciting. I recently been playing Professor Layton, which we'll get to. I
Yep.
recently played Yokai Watch. I'm kind of on my level 5 grind right now.
Sure. Yeah.
So new level 5 game, new IP from them, Deca Police, turn-based RPG with like I guess investigation mechanics.
Yeah.
Coming this year. But like I said, setting the tone, showing us some level 5 stuff. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, were you interested in
It
this?
did. I'm not. It's not something I'm going to play. I'm
Sure.
sure it's going to review well. It's got a very like niche target audience that it's going for. Obviously, level 5 targets those audiences, but it did look like really high quality. I mean, full voice acting, like the menus. Like this wasn't like some half-assed small thing. Like
They
it's a
rose from the
full
ashes out of nothing.
thing. Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
it really feels like they just been cooking for 10 years. I don't know. So that's interesting for sure. Keep an eye on that one. And then we get to Splatoon 3. Tucker, what the fuck is this?
I can't tell, and that worries
Are we
me.
paying for a hub?
But like an empty hub, like one that doesn't connect to
I-
like
well, okay,
new
but
minigames or like.
Before we talk about that part, okay, so they announced the expansion pass. It's 2 waves of DLC.
Yeah.
We're getting a story expansion. That trailer, very weird, very cool, very
Yeah.
Splatoon trailer edited.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's gonna be awesome. New single player.
Of
With
course, yeah.
But Wave 1, which is coming out this spring, they literally were just like, yeah, you can walk around the hub from Splatoon 1.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look, Inkopolis, you remember this? You remember some of these characters, but also some new characters, which are the most exciting part of that. There's like Sheldon's children and a guy made of calamari whose name is Fred Crumbs, which is a great character name and character design, and I love Fred Crumbs. But it seems well, they didn't explain it properly. I'm sure that it's not just a hub. There's gotta be something else to
My
it.
assumption would be like a set of remastered maps or more guns from the
Maybe.
first game.
Okay.
Or ideally, but I think they would have shown this, just port the single player from Splatoon 1.
True.
That
would
could have
also
been
be
cool, but I feel like
interesting,
they
yeah.
would have shown that if that was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't show more, but from what they showed, it was like, hey, you remember Inkopolis?
It's cool.
Here it is.
It feels so disconnected from the story DLC.
Yeah.
Right?
True. Yeah.
So a weird announcement, not really a negative thing, just like
No.
I'm just kind of scratching my head wondering what's going on with this. But the story stuff looks cool, playing as that new Octoling girl in like a white world, which is literally
which
the blob.
I wonder what kind of if there's going to be some sort of shift in how you approach the gameplay of that. I think Splatoon 3's campaign is the best single player stuff that team has ever done. They expanded what the open world was a little bit, or quote unquote the hub world. I thought that those missions were all really great. I hope that there's some shift to the way you're approaching the game here, and the fact that it's an entirely white world makes me think that you're going to be bringing back life to it, like the blob, like the unfinished swan. And I think that could be really cool, like using Splatoon's paint mechanics to interact with the world in a different way. I think that could be really cool, but also it was just like 10 seconds of like wow white background.
I love the
wow,
Splatoon.
Octoling.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cutting.
really weird.
I love Splatoon trailers. More DLC right after that. Or actually, we got the Disney game, the Mickey Mouse game, which looks cool. Looks like Rayman. Cute, respectable. Fire Emblem Engage DLC, which once again, they basically announced the big story, kind of like the Ashen Wolves for Three Houses.
Yeah.
Felt kind of anticlimactic, but cool. I'll be playing that. Here's the thing with DLC like this and with Xenoblade. I'll play like the story expansion, but when you're just adding characters to the story game I already beat,
Yeah.
why would I care?
Now, why would you go back to it? Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I know like Xenoblade has like the challenge mode and Fire Emblem has new maps, but for me, I'm playing it for the story. So I don't know. A little weird. Octopath 2 demo out today. Sea of Stars demo out today, coming out August 29th. I don't know if you've heard of this game. Very cool.
Yeah, no, I have.
JRPG. Yeah. Very, very cool. We love Katamari.
God, that got my goose. I'm a
That got-
Katamari head.
Okay.
Katamari Damacy reroll is very good, but I played We Love Katamari on PS2, and it's just better than Katamari Damacy. I got that game
Got it
has
right here.
so many clever level gimmicks. It uses the idea of rolling things up into a ball and like the way that you're approaching making a ball larger. Are you just collecting certain kinds of things? Is it like I'm collecting wood so I can light a giant ball on fire? Like there's so many different ways that they spin it, and the fact that that game is now coming back and going to be available to a new generation is awesome. And I wonder how far they're going to take this reroll thing, because there is Beautiful
all the way,
Katamari
bro.
and
Go
Touch
all
My
the way.
Katamari and Katamari Forever, and like they can do more of these, but I
Make
don't
a
know.
new one
I
after this probably.
You
I
have
I would
no
assume a new
fucking
one comes
clue.
after this, right?
You have no
I feel
fucking
like
clue
that's
how hard I will
the
pop
idea.
for that. Oh my god.
Now I do have
But
a
I did-
confession. I've never played a Katamari game. However, I fucking know. I know I will like it. My
Yeah.
girlfriend got me reroll for Christmas last year for my
Sure.
birthday or something. So it's definitely gonna be happening soon. Dude, you have to play with the Joy-Con though. Why?
What?
Katamari reroll on Switch. You have to use the Joy-Con. You can't use the Pro Controller.
You can't use. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. I put it in the Switch. I was gonna play it with her, and then it was like,
Yeah.
take out your Joy-Con, and I was like, nope. So I need to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, very exciting. I love Bandai Namco and all these weird remasters they're doing, which we'll get to another one they're doing. I don't know if you probably don't seem like an Etrian Odyssey type, but Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection.
No.
As people watching this channel know, big on the 3DS right now.
Yep.
Etrian Odyssey, very big series on 3DS. Never played any of them. On the one hand, it's kind of annoying because I was getting ready to play one of them.
Yeah.
Now I kind of feel like I have to wait, but it's coming out soon, June 1st. Collection of all 3 games, $80.
Yeah.
But
It's
you
a
can buy
lot.
them individually. But it's 3
Oh,
games,
okay.
3 long JRPGs, so whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, the thing about that is I'm not going to play these games. It is obviously just speaking to its audience, but they did what they have to. But
Sure.
though the layout of the
Dude,
game
I
on the
mentioned that they
screen
just
is
moved the bottom
terrible.
screen to the right.
Yeah,
They didn't even
looks bad. It's
try.
really
They
cluttered.
didn't even try.
I don't know. I don't know what else they could have done, but especially playing a game that long and that in depth for a super long time, I can't imagine that having like your game inventory and then map is gonna like feel.
They literally didn't
right.
even
But
try.
maybe you'll get used to it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm sure it's fine. Okay, next up, Advance Wars. Ooh,
Not shadow dropping. Not coming this
not
month.
not coming
even.
remotely soon. I would
Yeah.
argue. April 21st. Here's the thing, and this is the thing with like keeping your expectations in check.
Mhm.
I didn't fully actually expect it to get shadow dropped or even maybe released this month.
Yeah.
Although we got another shadow drop, which I don't think anybody was expecting to be this month.
True. Yeah. Let's talk about
I
that.
thought April 21st is so far away, bro. That's a year and a half after it was supposed to come out.
Mhm.
I don't know. It just feels like I feel bad for Advance Wars. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all,
the
that's
only
all I
thing
can
that-
really say.
that I think about this release date is honestly, what is another 2 months? To be 100% honest with you, the
Sure.
audience that's excited for this game is going to get it regardless of when it comes out. If it shadow drops today, that would have been a pop, and I'd probably be playing it tonight if it
Same,
had
I would
shadow
have bought
dropped.
it. Yeah.
But I do think that the best thing about that is it's not getting stepped on by Kirby or by Fire Emblem, because it would have been very similar to that if it
Yeah.
had launched today. And
Which
that
got
and
DLC
that-
today.
Exactly. Or Zelda. If people were saying it was launching like a week before or after Zelda, it has its own month now, which is not a good sign for April, because if your big release is Advance Wars, that's not a great idea. But this is the best thing for that game, is it has its own time slot. They can put a little bit of marketing into it, and they can prepare those physical copies that people are like, kind of worried about. So it's probably what's best for that game. But also, it doesn't really bother me in
Yeah,
any
it's
much way.
just it's one of those things.
What's
where it's
another
like,
2 months? Seriously.
yeah, they just need to get it out at this point. But yeah,
Yeah.
sure. They showed the new Magolor episode for Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Not much to say on that, but cool. They're adding more content to that game. That actually looks like a
Yeah.
really good remake, I have to admit.
It does, yeah.
And then we got, I think, probably one of the biggest announcements of this entire direct, to be honest. Game Boy games coming to Switch Online, as well as GBA coming to Switch Online with the expansion pack. I don't know if watch my reaction if you haven't. Roller Coaster. When they showed the Game Boy, I was so
Worried.
sad for a second. The fear in my heart when
Mhm.
before, knowing that we might not get GBA, but then we got GBA. Very weird selection of games, as we were talking about before we started recording.
Yeah.
The Game Boy stuff is okay. We got like, was it Mario Land 2? Metroid's
Oh,
out
no.
right now. He's pulling it
Yeah,
up.
Metroid 2, Link's Awakening
Kirby,
DX,
yeah, Link's Awakening. So
Kirby
cool,
Adventure,
yeah, so pretty good
and
stuff for Game Boy.
and
But,
fucking hold on.
oh, it's
Game
Alone in the
Selection.
Dark. Alone in the
Alone
Dark.
in the Dark, Game & Watch
What
Gallery,
is that, like an
and
expensive game or
Gargoyle's
something?
Quest.
What's up with Alone in the Dark? That's weird. They're
have
making
no
a
idea.
new one, aren't they? I don't know. That's really weird.
And Wario Land 3. So Game Boy is actually a pretty good lineup. What is that? 9 games. That's a solid amount.
With more promised.
More
Oracles, Pokemon trading card game, awesome. Kirby Tilt and Tumble, which is going to be interesting because that's like a
with gyro
motion game. Yeah.
Yeah. Very weird that they don't have Super Mario Land. Super Mario Land was the launch title for the Game Boy alongside Tetris. And I think a pretty good game. A game that I think deserves another shot. But where the fuck is that? It's not even in the extended lineup.
Right. Well, okay, that's my question to you, and I'll probably do a separate video on this actually. What else is there really? Mario Land
For Game Boy?
Mario Land, Wario Land, Wario Land 2.
Yeah.
A couple of Pokemon spin-offs. I assume we probably won't get first like the mainline Pokemon, which would be incredible, but unlikely.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. But other than that, I feel like they kind of already have the main bulk of the lineup. More Game & Watch galleries exist.
Mm-hmm.
Weird freaking balloon fight. I don't even know if that's on Game Boy. Weird stuff like that.
Yeah. There is a balloon fight sequel called Balloon Kid.
Kid Icarus,
that's a Game Boy
game.
game. Oh, Kid Icarus of Myth and Monsters. The original Wave Race is a Game Boy game.
Is it really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
But there is stuff they can add, and it seems like with Gargoyle's Quest and Alone in the Dark, they're willing to branch out more quickly into third-party games, which is a very good sign. But Game Boy in and of itself is a weird console to like try to build a library of because most of those games don't hold up very well. They have been remade. They are better in other places. So I'm glad they're there. But this lineup just feels weird without Super Mario Land.
No, yeah, it's weird. And that's what I said in my reaction. 2, or I guess really just the 1, but one of the main games they showed for Game Boy was Link's Awakening, and that's already on Switch.
True. But I'm glad that they're allowing themselves to do that because when
Right.
I was
No weird
hypothesizing what a Game Boy lineup for NSO or a Game Boy Advance lineup for NSO was, I'm like, okay, they have to make caveats here. I didn't think they'd have Tetris because I'm like, there's Tetris in other places. Can they get the rights to that being on there? They already have Link's Awakening. Are they going to do Link's Awakening DX? They're not going to be able to have the Pokemon games, but they've already proved me wrong with 2 of those, and are other than Pokemon, probably the 2 biggest games on the system, being Link's Awakening and Tetris. Like those are great additions to this. So I have good confidence that this lineup will blossom into something really complete. But I am a little bit hesitant seeing that they only announced 4 other games for that extended lineup. Like
and 2 of
that's
them are
not
games.
and 2 of them are Oracle games, which to be fair are not like Nintendo didn't make those games. And that's a big deal that those are coming back and going to be available on there.
Yeah. So weird stuff with the Game Boy, but honestly, the lineup right now as it is and with what's announced is pretty solid and pretty much what I would want. Game Boy Advance, however, fucking weird lineup, bro. So okay, we have Mario Advance 4, which you got to do all 4 of those, I guess. Cool.
We'll see. Yeah, well, probably if they do them.
We got Wario.
There's gonna be so many ways to play
Mario 3,
Super Mario Brothers, and Mario 3 on Switch once these come out. It's been crazy.
Classic. We got WarioWare, which that's awesome. I'm going to play that after we record this probably, or something else, which we'll get to.
Very quick game. It's about 2 hours long.
Right. Kuru Kururin. I never played this, but it looks like a cute little, I don't know what the fuck it is. Mario Kart Super.
It's a little puzzle game. Yeah. I really implore everyone in this audience, you're all Nintendo nerds like I am. Abram and I actually beat and reviewed that game alongside John Cartwright from Good Vibes Gaming, which is really cool, a few years ago. And that's a great game. It's very unique. It is a Nintendo franchise that most people don't know about, other than the Hellerin being a trophy in Smash Brawl, and then not back in Ultimate for whatever reason. But I really do suggest that you guys try that game. It gets hard as damn, but with Rewind, you should be able to get you through it. I really do recommend that game.
For sure. Oh, do these have Rewind? Because I know 64 didn't.
Oh, do they not?
I don't know. I haven't played them, but I know N64 games don't have Rewind. I would hope these do.
I have no clue.
Interesting.
Didn't try
that out. But lineup also has Mario Kart Super Circuit, which they kind of have that there. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which is awesome. That's like a 40-hour game. Or probably 20-hour game. They just dropped on there. And Zelda Minish Cap, which is my personal favorite 2D Zelda game. So
I love that game.
Plenty to play right now. However, the GBA has a freaking awesome library, and I
Yeah.
feel like this is missing a couple things that should have been there day one. We only have 6 games right now for GBA. Right now announced is Metroid Fusion, Kirby and the
There
Amazing
is
Mirror.
Rewind.
Hype.
Can
That is
confirm.
hype. Confirmed on video. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Fire Emblem, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, and I think Golden Sun was the other one.
Yep, that was the last one.
I wish one of those 2 JRPGs had been here on launch. Either Fire Emblem or Golden Sun. Probably Golden Sun because Engage just came out. But something for me to sink my teeth into.
Sure.
Because admittedly, I mean, I've already played Minish Cap. Superstar Saga I want to play on 3DS because remake.
Yeah.
And then like Kuru and WarioWare, those are short games I'll play. And then no Metroid, but we got Metroid 2, so I guess maybe that's why.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm much more excited about this than Game Boy to see where they go with this, because I think there's a lot of like third-party stuff. They can do Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Plenty of stuff. Actual value. Best deal in gaming.
Absolutely. I'm really happy that they added these, that they shadow dropped them. I think that
today.
When you look at them combined, I think it's a very good lineup. But it is imbalanced. Not having Super Mario Land there, not having like one of the Metroid games on Advance on day one is really weird. 6 games is a tiny lineup. That was like half.
That's the least they've done.
Half.
I think N64
easily
had more than that when it came out.
Yeah, and that had like 9 or 10 games, something like that. But I'm excited for what these collections can blossom into, but only showing a small portion of the future library is a little bit worrisome that we're not seeing the other games that you'd expect to be on there. Like, are they going to do Nightmare in Dreamland? Are they able to get the Pokemon games?
We'll
that would be crazy.
Probably. I would guess.
Sure,
maybe
yeah.
It would be Sapphire Pinball.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like that game, but yeah, it should be on there. But I have hope for these. But again, even the extended lineups are missing things that are like obvious. So who the hell knows?
Yeah, I'm also just curious how they're gonna do like the release cadence with these, because they've been doing. I would say it's been weird ever since. So they announced like 12 games for N64 initially when they announced that last year, or the year before last, 2021. And then after that, they announced like 6 more, and it's been weird. They released like Mario Party 1 and 2 together, and then there was nothing for 2 months. Then we got GoldenEye. We're still waiting on some of those N64 games. I would still hope there's more N64 games coming. Is Banjo-Kazooie on there?
Yes, that was with the day one. Okay. Or no, not day one, but soon after. Yeah.
So we need Banjo. We still need Banjo-Tooie. There's some other stuff. We still need Mario RPG for SNES. So I hope they can maybe, I don't know, do more, release more of these more frequently.
We'll see. I do think that this is a very good sign, though, because just doing like one N64 game every like 6 weeks and a smattering of Genesis games whenever they felt like it, was really awkward. But now they have 4 systems to drop stuff for, and it'll be exciting and more consistent if they start dropping. Okay, it won't feel like we're waiting 6 weeks for an N64 game if we're getting an advanced game, if we're getting 2 or 3 Game Boy games. I think that'll make it flow a little bit better, even if each specific console is like spaced out a lot. The fact that we have more opportunities for more games to drop more frequently, I think will help that out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, next announcement. I think this is probably where most people popped off in this direct. Dude, the way they did this was so weird. I think they were trying to like keep it low key. It feels like it was just a headline.
Yep.
It was just like we're doing more headlines, and it's the only new first party announcement in this entire direct. That's not DLC. Metroid Prime remastered. Keyword remastered, not remake.
Yeah.
Listen. I already bought the game. I'm gonna buy it twice because it's out digitally on the eShop now, and physicals are coming out in 2 weeks. I don't want to play it tonight, so I'm the toxic Nintendo fanboy that's gonna support this.
Yeah.
They released Prime Trilogy for $60, and this is not a remake. It's $40, which, to be fair, for Nintendo, a little bit more budget. I just question. First of all, we didn't hear anything about Metroid Prime 4. That's why I think that I think that's why they did it as like a headline, because they didn't want to mention that. So it definitely makes me question if that's even close to coming out now.
Who the hell knows?
You would think they would have said something about it. Normally they do. Like with Bayonetta, they would like remember when Astral Chain was announced, they're like, don't worry about Bayonetta, it's coming. Even when Metroid Dread was announced, they said, hey, Metroid Prime 4 coming. Very low key announcement. It's out today, which seems weird. But also, I mean, it's exciting. I can't sit here and say it's not exciting. I do wish maybe if they weren't gonna fully remake it, which they obviously didn't. It does look a little bit nicer.
It looks substantially nicer.
Okay, does it?
Totally new
Okay,
lighting engine,
okay.
totally new textures,
Eat
totally
my
new models
words.
for things. It absolutely is
So is it a
much
remake?
bigger.
Is it a remake in your mind?
I don't know in terms of the physics and stuff, or if there are going to be changes in the actual
Okay.
gameplay. But from a visual standpoint, yes,
Okay.
it is
Okay. I will take your word
substantially
for it.
different.
To me,
Yes.
looking at it, I was like, okay, it looks good, but then other parts didn't. Look, I don't know. It was
Yeah.
weird. I'm gonna play it tonight, obviously.
Yeah. Of course.
What was I gonna say though? Um, do you think they're gonna do Prime 2 and 3?
Nope. Absolutely not.
What
No.
the
It,
fuck?
it would have been from like same kind of visual trilogy if they could do that. But I think it's just going to be Prime, and
That's so weird
that's it.
though. That's so
It is
weird
weird.
though.
It is very weird, especially considering they already did a Prime trilogy once before.
Right. Well, I mean, this is like the longest standing rumor of all time for Nintendo
Yeah.
fans. Emily Rogers was talking about this shit back in 2018 as Prime
Yeah.
Trilogy. And then I think
Mhm.
last year it all shifted with Grubb and on all them saying Prime 1
Prime
remake.
remake.
And then I think Emily did say it's going to be 3 of them remastered separately. So
That could
maybe,
definitely be possible. I
but
think that would be a little bit
they would have announced it though. They
unfortunate.
would have announced it, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. I think you're right.
And they wanted to have done a physical version for Prime 1 alone, probably.
M-
But maybe.
Maybe. Who knows?
It's just a weird. It feels like they kind of just shat it out a little bit.
Yeah.
I do question their methods, but either way, very exciting. Are you going to be checking out this remaster?
Yeah, I played a little bit of Metroid Prime last year. I emulated it on my Wii U. I was using the Wii U Pro controller with I believe some sort of not, so I wasn't having to do single stick. But this is absolutely the way I'm going to go into this. I honestly I did not really like what I played of
I
Metroid
have not
Prime.
liked what I played of it, to be
But
honest with you.
that's an incredibly uncommon opinion.
Not
People
correct.
love Metroid Prime. And I do think that with a remaster, with twin stick controls, with it looking a little bit better and being on a system that I'm more comfortable playing rather than emulating it on my Wii U with a Wii U Pro controller, I think that I will probably like this game a lot. And I'm definitely going to be playing it soon.
For sure. Yeah,
And
like
it being out today is really awesome. I mean, that's
that is a big game to shadow drop for Nintendo.
100%, yeah.
That's probably the biggest game they've ever shadow dropped. Actually,
Easily.
So yeah, that's super exciting. And like I said, physical is out in 2 weeks. Which it's so funny. We were all thinking, oh, they're gonna shadow drop Advance Wars with a physical copy. No,
They
they
did
shadow
something
drop
much
Metroid
bigger than
Prime. Yeah,
Yep.
very weird. Rain Code, that new Danganronpa style game, whatever. This one got me excited. I know you don't know what the hell this is, but I recently these were rumors a couple weeks ago, so I went and picked up the actual GameCube versions here. But they announced the remake or remaster collection. I didn't think they would do collection. A Bot and Kaitos. This
I didn't
is
realize it was collection.
right. Yeah, it's both games. So the rumor was that it was going to be the first game, which is why I bought
Mhm.
Biden Kaitos Origins, because I was like, oh shit, that's going to go up in price. But gonna have it for the collection anyway. Yeah, Biden
of
Kaitos
course.
1 and 2 HD remaster coming from Bandai Namco and Monolith Soft. These are GameCube kind of card-based JRPGs. Very cool art style, very amazing music. Coming later this year. Like I was talking with you about this before we recorded. Weird that Nintendo's not publishing it, because Nintendo, at the very least, they published Bot and Kaitos Origins. I don't know if they actually own the IP.
No idea.
But either way, cool to have this coming. Very weird niche JRPG to bring back. And both games in one collection. Maybe it's good that Nintendo didn't publish it.
I have no idea. Yeah,
Because it probably would have been in a collection.
What's interesting? True. Yes. What's interesting about this game, and seeing it alongside what most of this direct was, is that this direct was very JRPG focused. Last direct was the farming direct, but really when you start to break down how most of the games that were shown here, especially the ones that aren't Nintendo, all like over 50% of them are JRPGs. And to my mind, they mostly start to flow together, which is a little bit unfortunate. I'm sure I would enjoy some of those games if I gave them a shot, but it really decreases my interest in some of these games because they don't end up standing out to me, especially because we're getting so many remakes of many generations of JRPGs, and they all, to the untrained eye, which is what I am, kind of look the same, kind of feel the same. They're coming from similar groups, and Square is putting out 4 bazillion games last year. It's a little unfortunate when things get washed away like that, but that's kind of what happened today. There's so many JRPGs. There's so many of them.
I mean, this is what people always say, I feel like, is that it's
Yeah.
either JRPG focused or tactics focused.
Yeah.
It is interesting because we have the new JRPGs, but then also we have remakes of old ones. We had two GameCube remastered JRPGs in this direct specifically with Bot and Kaitos and Tales of Symphonia, and they look similar. So I definitely get where you're coming from. Obviously, I'm a little bit more, I think, of a JRPG fan than you.
You are, yes.
I think this direct did better though in giving some variety than others. If anything, I was thinking that Deca Police game from Level 5 and then we actually ended up seeing Rain Code, and then we had Ghost Trick. This one almost felt like a puzzle direct. A lot of puzzle games in this a little
Sure.
bit. Definitely a lot of like anime style games though. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But after Baten Kaitos, this one I never played this game on 3DS. I know there's a big community. Keeping with that level 5 theme though, like I was talking about, a new Fantasy Life game was announced. Now, I'm assuming you haven't played this, but
Not familiar, no.
this was huge on 3DS. Like, this game was incredibly popular. Then they made a mobile game, and then Level 5 went out of business. So seeing it come back with a new game on Switch, I don't know. There's like an I in the title, Final Fantasy Life I. I don't know what that's about. But just cute little, it's kind of like Ever Oasis, little town building, JRPG, go to dungeons, do some stuff, make your home, have jobs, that kind of thing. Cool game to announce. Another game coming out this year from Level 5, so I really don't know what's going on with that. But, Tucker, what a fucking coincidence. I personally take credit for this.
Yeah, absolutely should.
I deserve this. I recently am replaying through the Professor Layton games. I only ever played the original trilogy, waiting for Unbound Future to come in the mail, but replayed the first 2 games. They announced Professor Layton 7.
Yes.
Or I guess whatever this number would be. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. A new Professor Layton game, Tucker. This is awesome.
A new Professor Layton game is that was my biggest.
That's like top of the list, I would say, of hype.
100%. Yeah, for me, 100%. I recognize that like that's not going to get most people excited, but I'm really excited to see this game start to get more information about this game. How different is it in terms of structure? Yeah, no year even, which is a little bit weird. It looks like there's maybe a new art style. It looks like full.
It looks
3D
better
models.
than the 3DS games.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what a full modern Professor Layton game on a system with the full power to like do something incredibly fresh with the series. What that could be. It's such an awesome thing to be coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, I think it's just hilarious that I am randomly replaying these games, and here's a new one. I do love that they seemingly have rectified their mistake of focusing on his daughter.
Yeah,
they're just like, now we're not doing that again. Yeah,
I've never actually played that game. I'd like to.
I'm sure it's fine. But
I do think that maybe it'll incorporate some of those elements. Maybe you'll have Catriel alongside you. I just want this to be like a real solid step forward for the Layton series, and I do think that them trying something new with the Catriel game or games. There was a phone one, there was a 3DS one, and there was a Switch one. I can't tell if they're like all the same game or if they have different content. I have no fucking clue. But this is exactly what I could have. This is everything you can want from the next step for Professor Layton, seemingly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We didn't see much. We literally just saw like some engine footage, I guess. But that's definitely one of the most exciting things for me. More DLC, though. I think this one's probably. This is pretty exciting, right? They revealed a new course for the Booster Course Pass, and it is literally just a new course. This is not a Mario Kart Tour track. I love Nintendo. They just be like, yeah, we're remaking tracks. Here's a new one.
Not only a new one, but a new character as well.
Yeah, new character. This is, I think, what everybody wanted was new characters, maybe some new bikes later on, new carts. But yeah, Birdo's coming, all the different colors like you would expect. Although, does Birdo have different colors? Is that even a thing?
I don't know.
I don't think that's a thing.
I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, that's a little weird. But this new course, Yoshi's Island, this looks awesome. This track looks beautiful. You have the little like flying question marks. Those are the item boxes.
Yeah,
a lot of love and detail into this.
And you've got the big like hills with mouths and like eyebrows in the background, and it's incorporating the seasons. That is an amazing.
This is the best track that they've done.
Oh, absolutely, 100%,
100%.
So exciting that that's a possibility now. I wonder if, as we start to see this coming to a close, if each drop will have a new track. I assume this will be the only new track.
Probably not, but
for
I hope so.
This set. But it's Nintendo. You're so strange. You're so weird. But this is a very good weird.
Yeah, that's what I popped off. I was like, oh, because at first I wasn't sure if it was a tour track, but then I was like, there's no way this is tour. And then I saw Birdo. So very exciting stuff there. Coming spring. They didn't show any of the other tracks, which is weird. Then we got some montages. Who cares? And then we got the final game. Tucker. The new game in the Legend of Zelda franchise comes out in 2 months.
Yeah, it does.
And I still don't feel like I know what the fuck I'm doing in this game. This was the time to show and I'm not listen. This trailer was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good.
The game comes out in 2 months, and I still don't know what the fuck the game is.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that not only that's 2 months from now, but is that unless they do a dedicated direct, which is
They
totally
have to.
possible.
They have to do like
They
that.
have
I
no
thought maybe a
other
Treehouse stream,
opportunities.
maybe. Yeah.
True, possible. When was the last time they did one of those? I have not heard anything about Treehouse in years.
They did a random one after a direct like a year or two ago. But yeah.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
But they have no opportunities to talk about this game, to show us more than what we've gotten. For the last 3 years, we've gotten short trailers showing that you're in the sky, Link has a weird arm, and then that, like, on repeat, and, like, environmental shots. And this was certainly more in depth than those. We saw new forms of combat. We saw, like, heat-seeking missiles, bow shots.
Yeah,
We
that's
saw
cool.
flying enemies, which is going to spice
Ganondorf
up the
VO.
combat. Yeah, Ganondorf. Apparently, Matt
Assuming
Mercer.
Ganondorf. Oh, is it?
People have been saying. But that's interesting. And Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts gameplay, which I think is actually a much bigger deal than I think people are letting on. Again, it's been, what, 2 hours since the direct finished? We haven't talked about it a ton. But the physics engine of Breath of the Wild was what made that game so special, and being able to mess around with things and approach things from your own angle. And now that you can build flying machines and cars and attach things to different things, I think this is the thing that makes this a different experience. And I think it'll really make it a different experience. It's not you just riding around on a horse, which could take a while, but building flying machines and cars. I think this is gonna be really awesome. We just don't know what the extent of it is yet.
Right. Yeah, I guess from a trailer, I don't know what else I could have asked for, because we definitely got more story hints.
Yes.
But we're not seeing towns, we're not seeing other NPCs like that 2017 Breath of the Wild trailer had. The Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts stuff is interesting. When I saw Link like controlling that car on the ground with Magnesis, they absolutely got the idea for this from speedrunners.
Yeah.
Literally, they've been doing this with like the weird like metal thing and like flying through. They very heavily taken from, I think, that community, which is awesome. They're taking and learning from that, and the game looks fantastic. There's no doubt about it. I think I wanted more. I just don't really. I guess it's more NPCs and story stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I just wanted something that was substantial enough, with maybe an afterwards explanation of, okay, here's some of the new mechanics. In Tears of the Kingdom, you will be visiting the blank islands in the sky, and the enemy is not Calamity Ganon, or it's revised Ganon or whatever. Like, I wanted there to be a little bit of a breakdown, a little more information. What is setting this apart from that first one, which again could be done in a Tears of the Kingdom specific direct. We don't know that that's coming, and if this is all the information we get before the game comes out, it will feel like a really weird note to leave it on, because we got basically no information for 4 years, and now we get this, and this is a good trailer, but it feels like a trailer that like reveals a game, to be 100% honest.
It does. It really does. This feels like a reveal trailer. This is our fourth trailer for this game. When it ended, when I saw the logo pop up, I was just like, oh. I was like, okay. Like, it's a good trailer. It is a very good trailer. But I just question what I made a video on the marketing for this game. It's very weird. Either there's going to be a blowout in April or March, or this is actually it. And either way, I don't know what to. I don't know. It's very weird.
The thing is, in the long run, that this doesn't matter.
Exactly. Oh yeah, 100%.
We're be buying the game.
That's $70.
I think it will probably be fantastic. Which, sure, we can talk about. I think it'll obviously be fantastic. Abram is significantly hesitant about this game. He's actually not excited about it at all, or significantly less than most people.
Yeah.
But the more I see about this game, I do think that the Banjo-Kazooie stuff is exciting. And again, if that's what's setting the game apart, I think it actually could be more substantial than people are letting on. But it's hard to really tell from what they've given us. But we're going to play this game, and then we're going to forget that the marketing cycle was weird because we were playing an awesome game. So, like,
yeah, it won't matter.
And
I have faith in the Zelda team to make a good Zelda game.
Yeah.
But there's a lot riding on it. This is the longest time between a mainline Zelda ever. So there's a lot riding on it.
For an asset reusing sequel.
Right, exactly. No one thought it was going to take this long. And I'm sure they didn't think it was going to take this long either. So hopefully they show up with the good stuff. They also announced a collector's edition, which is cool. Cute. Gonna have to pre-order that. And an amiibo, which is exciting because I think Abram was tweeting about how he thinks amiibo might be dead if this doesn't have a new amiibo. We're good. I think we're good with like one amiibo a year. That seems to be where we're at. But but they're doing it though. I think 2021 they only had Metroid. Splatoon amiibo.
Oh, you're right. There wasn't that many though, right? There was like maybe
it
just
was
the
3
pack.
It was 3. Yeah.
The small fry, the purple Octoling, and the yellow.
Yeah, but then when they do that, they also reprint old amiibo. Like when Fire Emblem came out, there was no new Fire Emblem amiibo, but they reprinted Marth and Core and Player 2. I have it right here. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Didn't know
so
about that.
they're reprinting stuff instead of making new ones, I guess. Because I mean, there are so many at this point. Hopefully, with Pikmin 4, they reprint that Hey Pikmin amiibo. I think super
Ooh,
expensive.
yeah,
That'd
that'd
be
be
nice.
cool.
But
Or get a little Gucci dog
yeah, oh yeah,
amiibo.
maybe. Also, $70. I just have to say it real quick.
Yeah,
Nintendo game $70 now. Well, this one at least anyway.
this one, yes.
Probably
We
Metroid Prime
know
4.
we know that Pikmin 4 is not. We
Right.
know that Cereza is not. And we know
Heaven
that
forbid, sir.
that we know that Metroid Prime is only $40, which is actually I think a solid price for that game and being as remade as it is. Again, you'll have to take a look at that. You're not convinced, but I'm glad that there's a variability in pricing now. I'm okay with the $70. I haven't fully leaned into that for like buying a bunch of $70 new games. I got Black Ops or not Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2. I got God of War Ragnarok, but I haven't been fully set into buying that games are $70 now. I just got Fire Emblem and that was $60. So
Right.
who knows if this is going to be a tip into the biggest games being 70, but variable pricing is okay. And I think we should allow a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I think Nintendo's actually been. People always criticize Nintendo for the pricing, which to be fair, sometimes it's very warranted. But other times,
Yeah.
like Switch Sports was $40 digitally.
Yeah.
Which accurate pricing for that game.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm gonna do a separate video on the pricing stuff. Maybe I'll have you join me for that. But
Sure.
yeah, Tucker, this is a bit of direct. Absolutely. I think talking through it, it was a very good direct. They showed me a lot of stuff that I'm excited to play. Most of it's coming or is out now.
Yeah.
Coming very soon. But and maybe it's because I make YouTube videos, which always I think affects my perspective a little bit.
Sure.
It's weird not knowing what's after Pikmin, which is only 5 months away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Again, I think that it's a problem of balance because we've never had a direct that only focuses that they say focuses on stuff coming out soon and only does that. There's always a tease of what's coming next. There's always something that's the next year or in the next season that they weren't telling us that they were going to announce for, and that allows that next direct to not be only new things. We can finally say like, "Oh, okay, we're getting the trailer for this then because they already announced it here." And that can feel a little more balanced, but there's a really hard shift. They're going to need to do a really hard shift between this direct, which is covering DLC, which presumably we won't see that much of in the next um, direct, and covering the trailers for old games. Getting the Pikmin trailer, getting the Zelda trailer, getting the Cereza trailer, getting the Kirby trailer. Those are the games we know about, and they delivered, but they weren't exciting. And I think that that is for me where the balance feels the most off is other than the shadow drops of the new systems on NSO and Metroid Prime, there were really no surprises today. Even with GBA, Game Boy, and Metroid Prime, those have been rumored for literally years.
Not
at
Nintendo's
this
fault.
point. True,
To be fair,
of course.
But
Yes,
as consumers, we've heard about that stuff. Even Bot
Yeah.
Kaitos, we kind of knew about.
Sure.
It is certainly a
and
little
we
less
love
exciting.
Katamari leaked.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Even some of the Amigo leaked. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah,
So that's definitely something Nintendo needs to get better about in terms of keeping that stuff locked down, because it certainly
Yeah.
would affect our opinion of it. If Metroid Prime hadn't been leaked, I think people would have been over the freaking moon. Which, to be fair, people still are over the moon.
yeah.
Certainly a weird direct. Also, I just had the thought. We're kind of complaining that Pikmin 4 is the latest thing.
hmm
We'll probably get something from Pokemon in 2 weeks.
Yes,
A new spinoff
true.
or something. That'll probably be like August. So we'll go a
Mhm.
little bit further. But yeah, that next direct, first of all, they better have something in June. And
They
it
did.
it pretty much has to all be new content, which is
Yeah.
going to be crazy. It'll still have
Yeah.
DLC, I guess. It'll still have Splatoon 3 story DLC again and Xenoblade
True.
DLC, but they're not going to have as much to fall back on. Dude,
Mhm.
in this direct, we need to wrap up here. When
That's
they had a whole segment on Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, like it was like a segment. I was just like,
Mhm.
okay, we're doing this.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
rough.
that's how I felt as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that this direct just proves to me what it gets me excited and what doesn't. Because as again, we went through it, and as we went through it, I was like, yeah, this is good stuff. Most of it isn't for me. Most of it is exciting for niche markets. But I do think that what the best directs do is balance the new reveals, balance the information on old game, balance the DLC, balance the third party games. But this direct did feel unbalanced because there wasn't that one big thing to hang your hat on for this direct. There wasn't the Donkey Kong game or the Rhythm Heaven game or the new even a new Mario sports game or new Mario spin-off game. Like there wasn't even that one next thing. It was just the old stuff. and Metroid Prime, but that's today, and we already knew about it, and I don't know.
Right, it's almost it sounds so like I'm like a spoiled brat, but it's
Yeah,
almost like a negative thing that Metroid Prime is already out because I don't have something to look forward to.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I
such
don't
a
know.
weird balance. I'm sure we sound like little brats, but
It's okay. We're Nintendo fans.
yes, we are brats. We're greedy. Want more Nintendo games. But Tucker, thank you for joining me. This is a very
Of
fun
course.
discussion. Of course,
Yep.
people watching, you can go subscribe to Backlog Banter, their gaming channel, and Backlot Banter, their movie channel,
Yep.
popping off with all
We've
the
got
Oscars
a we've got
BS
a
going
Bo
on.
Talks Media discussion coming out soon about the Nintendo Switch's identity and what it can learn from past generations, primarily what they did during the Wii U and 3DS generation. What can the Switch learn from that? It's a very good discussion coming out within a week,
It's
maybe.
coming out
Let's
one
say
of these
that. Yeah.
times. You know, we recorded it like a week ago. It's
That's okay.
it's already been a while.
I messed up the edit. The audio was too low. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'll
But
figure it out. But yeah, thank you, Tucker, for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo discussions like this. I will be talking probably tomorrow about Breath of the Wild, or not Breath of the Wild. $70, all that, Pikmin
Yep.
4. A lot of stuff to talk about. Metroid Prime I'll have a review up because that'll be my first time playing that game, so very excited for that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.